What is up, my Lorcana Goons, and welcome back to the Lorcana Goons channel. My name is Kevin. You're here with Zach Stone and I for the Friday weekly market watch. We do these every Monday and Friday, and we talk about Lorcana news, meta trends, and card prices. And we got to start today off with this newly released box art for the set 8. Set 8 is what this is. Reign of Jafar. We don't even have set 7 yet. Arcasia's Island hits stores next week, but we're already getting little teasers and spoilers for Reign of Jafar over here, courtesy of Lorcana News TCG on Twitter and Citizens of Lorcana. Thank you so much for keeping us updated. Look at this. This is the wonderful box art for set 8. If you didn't know, set 8 is going to be Jafar themed. Jafar is like the villain in this set from what it's looking like, and we're getting a variety of things. We have the new playmats and deck boxes. They're going to be Tinkerbell and Mickey Mouse themed. We have, oh, here they are, Zach. Pretty cool, pretty cool. We have the
I love it.
Tros.
I love it.
This is probably the coolest thing. We have the new palace heist. This is like the next Illumineer's quest we're getting. We had the Ursula's one a while ago, and now we have this one. What do you think about this?
First thought is that the packaging is a lot smaller, so I actually do like that they're thinking more ergonomically, I would say. The thing too is that the set, I kind of have a little joke. I'm gonna call this set the Reign of Hugs because everyone on the artwork looks like they want to give you a big, nice hug, and I love that. But we're getting a little bit of teasers of like what kind of cards will be in there. I mean, we're looking on the cover of the starter decks, and we see a Stitch, we see a Tiana, we see a Bruno. So these are going to be cards. The Mulan, and the colors that we're going to have are Amethyst and Amber and Ruby and Steel. And I know there's a lot of Ruby Steel pioneers, I would say, that are very excited to see more support for their color combination.
Yeah.
And these are in French, so yeah, there was a there must have been like an event where they like showcase some of these, and I've seen this happen throughout multiple card games. So it's like kind of like a preview into like the future, and I do like that they have some of these artworks displayed for us here.
I want to quickly mention that this Stitch artwork right here, the Mulan kind of gives me the same vibe, but the Stitch in particular looks kind of 3D animated almost. Is it just me, or it kind of gives me a 3D vibe looking at it. He almost looks like Stitch from the movie, from like the new movie that's coming out. So maybe there's a world where there's like a collab there. Because if I'm not wrong, I do recall the new the Moana 2 movie had a lot of there was a lot of Lorcana cards from the Moana 2 movie. I haven't seen the Moana 2 movie yet, but I know Maui Half Shark's in there. I know a lot of the Kakamora changes are in that movie. So maybe they're gonna be using this as a way to promote the new movie that's coming out too. But that Stitch looks really realistic to me. It does not look like your ordinary animated Stitch. So maybe it's even just the animation style for this new set coming out. But that's really cool, man. Reign of Jafar. I would still like to know when we're
Mm-hmm.
getting Worlds or something, or any of
Right.
that information.
Dude, that Stitch looks like it's enjoying the amplifier, I would say. So
Enjoying the
it's a nice.
amplifier. That's a quick little reference for you guys right there. But yeah, so they're already dropping news for Reign of Jafar, and we haven't even gone through Arcasia's Island yet. So I'm also looking forward to seeing the new spoilers we're getting, as well as trying to keep up with everything that's going on. But right now I'm focused on set 7, not necessarily set 8 yet. And we got some more information about set 7. This is the mat that we're going to be receiving for set championships. Thank you, Citizens of Lorcana, for sharing this info. And I do believe this is the first time we're not going to have a non-champion promo mat. So this is the only mat that we're going to be able to win for set championships. And you're going to have to get first place to win this mat. If you get second place, you don't get the mat that doesn't have champion on it no more. It's just this one now. And I like this one a lot. This one looks really good. So I might take a Saturday off or Sunday off, whatever, to go play a set championships to try and win one of these because these are really cool. How are you feeling, Zach? I know a lot of people definitely wanted to have the runner-up mat still. People are a little sad that we get entry promos and they're not even full art entry promos. They're just non-foil versions of the art. Still kind of interesting there. But overall, what are your opinions, Zach, on the new set champs run?
So my first thought is that yeah, I knew a lot of people weren't going to be happy about the mat situation, only having one winner mat and no longer a runner-up mat. The the community kind of felt like it was It was something that was like sort of taken away, but like in place we got the non-foil ones. So like I think there's a little bit of a balance that Ravensburger's trying to do there. Some stores are also finding themselves, having the finals be decided just off of a coin flip for a champion and a non-champion mat. Most of the time, people are indifferent or even prefer the non-champion stamp on there. So yeah, that's gonna create a difference of opinion. For me personally, I don't mind the changes. I had a goal of just always reaching the finals of the set champs I would enter because I like the mat, but now my goal has now changed to winning the set champs. So I might consider having to play in two set champs in a season, not just one, because I feel like winning might take a little bit of more luck on my side than actual skill and preparation, but these mats are cool, and I think if I were to win one, I wouldn't be so bugged about not winning another one. So I like this in a way because it creates a little bit more incentive to keep playing it out, and I kind of like that. The idea of splitting or intentionally drawing two in Swiss is something to kind of be looked at. I think stores should kind of only allow that to happen in the final round of Swiss. Some stores that I played, people can draw as early as round three in a 6 round Swiss event. So that's kind of deterring, and I can see why some people aren't liking that. So I think if it was just like one round that you can allow intentional draws, I think that's okay.
In fact, before we move on, there's one tidbit of information that I really wanted to mention, Zach, since you kind of brought up the way locals are running their tournaments. There's a lot of information on how the tournament is supposed to be run, basically like how many players you have, how many rounds of Swiss it equals, and whether you do top four or top eight. But one of the big things was that there was no rules about how stores were able to, I guess, gatekeep or allow slash not allow players to enter these tournaments. I know there's a lot of local game stores that had the ability to just tell their customers, hey, you can only enter our tournament if you are a league member, if you've played here before, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that was to deter people like outside people from coming into these set champ tournaments and just winning them and not letting the local league enjoyer have a chance at winning. But Ravensburger actually posted this in the tournament details in the update saying players allowed in your venue cannot be restricted from this event for any reason other than physical space requirements to ensure fairness and inclusivity for the community. So, if you're a local game store owner and you've been telling people you have to pre-sign up for our set champs by playing here already, or you can't play unless you've played here before, you can no longer do that. And personally, this is my personal opinion, by the way. I think this is cool. I think this is great. I did feel kind of weird when I would try and go to certain set champs in my area, and I was told, "Sorry, you can't play here because you've never played here before." And my immediate reaction is, "Well, I guess I'll never play here ever again." That's just from my perspective. I don't see a reason why people should be discriminated against because they've never played there before. I understand though. I know some people they don't want the competition at their store. But and the competition is there no matter where you go, guys. Like it's called a set championship. There's going to be competition there. There's only going to be one champion, and I don't think necessarily get like a gatekeeping like we were talking about, Zach, is the right way to do it for a store. And like personally, like I know some people are going to disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. But now it's in the rules. Unless there's a space issues, then stores cannot tell people you can't play in our set champs, which I think is really good. Zach, because the reason I think it's really good too is because it feels like a slippery slope to like allow stores to tell like people, certain groups of people, you can't play here because you're not a local league member. I do think that is a little just odd to me.
So the only thing I had initially thought of when this happened was that there were going to be some stores that I think that based on space issues might have to reconsider like how they go about things. I know there are stores that I've played at that would allow their like locals to just sign up for 1 week before allowing any other outside of the local areas to sign up. So this might hinder them from doing that. Kevin, I also have to remind you and I that like there is a luxury we have being in Southern California, and some people that only have like two or three game stores in their local area. They may not have a chance to be able to play in all of them. So if they go there and they were told, hey, We only allowed our local players to be in this one. Yeah, I can see why it takes away from some of the I would say better parts of the better parts of the game, right? Because going to like different stores and getting to experience a different like meta game as a competitive player is something that I kind of like, and that's why I always tell people like, hey, if you're going to set champs, prepare for your locals, but if you're traveling out to different events and stuff, like you need to prepare for like a wide variety of a meta. You need to expect different things, but obviously kind of take into account what you would expect to play the most of before anything else. And yeah, these are like fine like implications for like these types of tournaments for now. And I think some other stores might be a little bit more concerned, but also the melee is going away, and we'll have the Ravensburger Play Hub coming in the Reign of Jafar season for the rest of these tournaments.
But speaking of competition, Zach Stone, we're going to go over some meta trending cards. A new set comes out next week, and we don't know what the meta is going to look like, but there's already cards that are going up and down because of what people think the meta is going to look like. Like Clarabelle, the Light on Her Hooves. We've been talking about this since last week. We've watched this go from around $15 to today, lowest verified is $20, $19.99 with $1 shipping by Wasteland Gaming. Shout out you guys for this low price. $20 now for your Clarabelles. If you wanted them cheaper than that, you can no longer find them for less than $20. And cold foils are $30. Lowest verified 29.04 by Empire Collectibles. We do have a $25 listing though. That might be pretty good for you if you want to get a cheaper deal. That's them deals today. Elsa, Spirit of Winter from the first chapter. This card also getting very close to $20. $18 lowest verified, shipping included by Plant City Card Shop today. Then next verified is Demon's Den, I mean. Then it jumps to $19.50 by R&R Gaming LLC. So around $18 to $19 for your Elsas, and still $50 for your cold foils. DXN provisions $49.82 for cold foil Elsas. These have no problem selling, in my opinion. A lot of these sell very often. Anytime I get a cold foil at our booth, at that Ninja Exchange in Carlsbad, the cold foil also does not last. Whether you're a collector or a player, this is one of the top cards I think in the Lorcana space, and I think it's like that because the enchanted is like super expensive, right? Hades from the first chapter as well going up in price due to the recent Sapphire hype. I think if you're playing Sapphire, if you're not playing Ruby Sapphire, your Sapphire deck might need Hades. It's one of the few like one-shot removals in the game. $13 lowest verified by Cosmic Delivery XOXO with 88 cents shipping, so around $14 there. And for a cold foil, these are more than $35 right now. Game Cafe, $32.70 with $4.75 shipping, around $37. That's pretty cool to see. First chapter cards still going up in price, especially because they're becoming more relevant again, right?
100%. And yes, like you said, this is like the only card that's like single target removal on a body for Sapphire. And there might be other cards people will play. Sapphire Steel has the luxury of damaging cards with their removal actions and songs, but the Hades, has that little bit of tidbit, just giving your opponent the extra ink. So maybe you have to always reconsider. And I don't know, Kevin. When I shift the character and then they Hades it, and I get two cards in my inkwell, I'm kind of happy about that personally. But
Yeah.
another legendary that's been going up in price, and not just from set one, but from set two, is the Bell Hidden Archer. This is $10 now, guys. This is a card that was like $5, I think, for the longest time, and maybe even a little bit below that right before it spiked up. So there was the dip before the hype, and right now, right, it's sitting at near like not an all time high, because this card was like 50 something dollars when it first got released, but yeah, like $10 for a bell right now sounds really like too much in my opinion. So maybe you can reconsider if you haven't purchased your bells. Cold foils have sales at about $30 to $35 today, and that's impressive to see. I own some. I never even thought about playing this card, but I might consider parting ways with some of my personal collection cards, just because if I'm not playing them in anything for a while, I don't really need to hold on to them that long.
Yeah, personally, I don't have high hopes for this card coming into the new meta. I think it's good. We basically have a one-cost bell now where we can shift into this by turn 3, but I don't think it's $10 legendary good, and I don't think it's $35 cold foil legendary good. So Zach Stone, if I were you and I had those, I'd get rid of them. I'd list them. Same way I was getting rid of genies a couple weeks ago because the hype is just not there. I do think genie's really good though. By the way, right now they're selling for less than $10 though. Lowest verified is $8 with a dollar ship shipping by VCB Games, which is really good. If you've been trying to play this in your Amethyst deck and you don't want to buy them at 15, 16, almost $20 last format today, you can find them for around $9. And I think this card is still very powerful in the upcoming meta. I genuinely think that people are just kind of like, I'm over this card. I don't want to play this anymore. I want to play a different deck. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be relevant next format. So $17 for your cold foils. I think that's really good, actually. Wow. These used to be like 30 some dollars for cold foil genies. Now they're only $17 by Recreation Games, lowest verified. That's a deal right there. Lady Tremaine, Imperious Queen, a very important card in the Ruby meta today. Lowest verified is around $5. $3.95 with the $1.31 shipping by PokeRook. And Zach, you let me know that the TCG player increased their shipping costs, actually. So, that's gonna be making an impact on some of these prices now. Look at this. Cold foils are only $7.24, only about $2 more than the non-foil Tremaine. So, personally, I would just rather have these cold foils. This card does come in an enchanted rare, so I don't expect cold foils to really shoot up to that high of a degree compared to the non-foils because of the enchanteds, but still pretty nice. Pay $2 more and you get the card in shiny instead of non-shiny. Tipo Growing Sun. Look at this card, guys. This is shooting up to around $3 each now. We have $1.99 plus $1.31 shipping. If you're buying and you can only buy one each from different sellers. If you're just buying one every time, you're paying about $3 to $3.50 per Tipo now. So the Sapphire hype is real. This is going to be the reign of Sapphire. They should have called this Arcasia's Island or Reign of Sapphire because everyone's going to be playing Sapphire is what it feels like and what it looks like, right? $10 plus for a cold foil Tipo, $9 with $1.75 shipping right there. Cold foil, Let It Go. We're going to talk about some cold foils now. Cold foil, Let It Go. These are also going up. I do think this card is pretty relevant since last format. I think you need like one or two copies of this in most Sapphire decks. You want to be able to just let it go the opponent's Lilo, maybe their Mufasa, even stuff like Maui Shark. It can be really problematic, or Genie, for example. If you don't have the Maui Shark to smack it. Oh, look, we have a Chinese cold foil, Let It Go for $7, and then not regular English cold foils are going to be $8.50, shipping included. Zach, how do you feel about Let It Go coming into the new format?
Let It Go is a card that I've always felt like will be in the game for as long as this card's not like banned or rotated out in any way. That's just staple card for removal. We talked about the Hades, which is basically the same effect on a body, but this is an inkable song, so you have the ability to play it early. I know we talked with Rip Lungs, aka Create TCG, with the Tipo Miss Bianca, and this is a 5-cost song that you can sing in Sapphire Steel. And I just want to add a little bit to that shipping cost. It's really going to matter a lot when you're not buying your play sets from people from all one person, or when you're just buying a dollar card. Because when you're buying like $4 cards from the same person, you're still having to pay the $1.31 shipping. So it's just something to really consider while you're shopping online, is that the shippings and the costs are increasing. So really consider that into like what you're going to have to pay like when you go anywhere else. And if you're looking to buy cards and you're from the Southern California area, you can always find me at Frank and Sons Collectible Show, located at booth M4 every Wednesday, Saturdays, and Sundays. And Kevin is located at the Ninja Exchange in Carlsbad, shops of Carlsbad specifically, every Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. So check us out if you're from the local area and become a local Goon Squad member.
All right, all right. After Let It Go, we have Let the Storm Rage On, another Elsa song. This is actually from the song Let It Go as well. These are selling for around $6 right now. Cold foils at least. Lowest verified is $4.59 with the $1.31 shipping. Then it's gonna be by Casual Max TCG. Then we have Lorcana Chicago, $5.94 shipping included for lowest verified sale. So around $6 each now. I think Sapphire Steel is gonna be a really popular deck going into the new format. Amber Steel was the first deck that could do this on turn one. Then Emerald Steel was able to do this set this up on turn one, with the Diablo shift. And now Sapphire Steel can go Popsicle Bell, and now you have a 3-cost Bell on turn one to sing Storm Rage On. And that's why these cards are going up in price. Popsicle, look at this, guys. Cold foil Popsicles are $14 with $1 shipping by Freeman Games. Then Bobby MTG Poke has it for $15 with $1.27 shipping. Everybody is selling Popsicles for $15 to $16 per cold foil right now. Market price is barely at $12, so it's still catching up. So if you guys are trying to get these or trade for these, or people want your cold foil Popsicles and they're only going by market price, make sure you look at the lowest recent verified listings. Make sure you look at the recent sales as well, so you can see that they're all selling for clearly $14 to $15 per cold foil Popsicle. The market price has not caught up yet for that one. This
Market price is helpful, but never accurate.
Yes, exactly. It's an average of the last a couple days, so it's not going to be accurate to the most like recent pricing. Maurice's Workshop. This is another interesting one. Check this out. The market price is $7, but the most recent sales are $16.99, $17.21, $8, $9, $11, $12. These prices are everywhere, so we're not going to have a accurate market price for a cool minute until we figure that out. But there's only one listing left for this card. It's $29.99 by JR Cards. They have 6 of them ready for you to go. That is crazy. Check this out. This card being used in any Sapphire item-based decks, so any decks that use Oswald, the Queen Diviner, like really item-heavy based decks. And anytime you play an item, you draw a card. This card is from set 2, so it's pretty old as well. Crazy to see it selling for more than $15 for the cold foil when we don't even know what decks are going to be good necessarily next format, or what's going to be used really in terms of Sapphire. Calhoun, the Goon, the Marine Surgeon, cold foils shooting up to around $25. Only 3 listings left. Wow. Check this out. Lowest verified is $35 today. Love to see these stonks going up. After that, it's a $40 listing, and before that, a $25 listing by Kokomo Cards. Most recent sales right here, though. Check this out. We have some most recent sales for $22.99 for a cold foil, $19.99 for a foil, $24.98 for a foil, around $25 at least for Calhoun's cold foils. If I have these in my trade binder cold foil, I'm asking $25 trade value right there. Bend to my will, another cold foil that is still going up because of this recent hype of Emerald Sapphire being a good deck. Lowest verified is $11 for these cold foils, but you can find some non-verified sellers that are still selling it for less than $10. But shout out Nonstop Magic Shop for being the lowest verified today for Bend to my will. Each opponent discards all their cards in their hand. A lot of people want to try this out with the new Sapphire cards like Ink Geyser, or even just combining it because there's a lot of new consistent Sapphire Emerald cards. Zach, I think this is a little bit gimmicky though. I don't know if we're ready for Bend to my will format. What do you think?
Be prepped from the hand is kind of nice, but the thing that I always feel about this card is that it's just like a high risk, high reward. You're gonna find this card being stuck in your hand early on, and it becomes very unplayable or becomes kind of bricky. So it forces it to be good in the Sapphire strategy. And I can go on for days about blue green, but for my experience is that it's going to only stick in blue green. It's not going to go anywhere else. I don't see other strategies kind of utilizing this as effectively. Playing this on turn 7 is too late, and you need to play this earlier. And that's what you're allowed to do with the acceleration that Sapphire has. And definitely something to consider going forward.
Definitely too late. But yeah, being able to ramp into these high-cost cards is really what Sapphire can do for all these high-cost cards, but that's going to be enough for these meta-trending cards. If you have any of these cards in your trade binder, be sure to keep updated on these prices so you get that value, or maybe some of these cards are cards you're considering of using in your decks coming into the new format, and we just urge you to practice with them, play test with them, really figure out a way to use them, make some proxies, make some fakes, and play with the homies, and see if you really like this card, if it's worth paying this much when they're this hyped. Because look at this chart, guys. We're at the very top for some of these cold foils, right? But let's talk about some enchanted rares for the collectors out there. If you're still watching, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Elsa, the enchanted rare from the first chapter, Spirit of Winter. Most recent sales, there hasn't been too many sales, but we had a sale 2 days ago for $900. We did have one for $1,100 on the 22nd, and another one for $1,000 on the 20th. But the most recent sale is $900, and there's 17 listings. So plenty of listings to go around on TCG Player. However, lowest verified for these listings is $950. Before that, we have a non-verified listing right there. But the percentage right there in terms of customer satisfaction is not too high. So not my favorite. I personally would not order from that seller just for that reason. And then if we're going through these listings though, there's a lot of PSA Elsas. So it's kind of hard to find a raw Elsa on TCG Player for a good price. The only one that I can really see is this $950 one. Then Calamity's TCG has one for $1,200. But besides that, all the other ones are PSA graded, or they're going to be really expensive for raws. So it's on TCG Player, at least you're not going to be able to find any raw Elsas for less than $900. And on eBay, from what I've seen earlier, there's not many raw Elsas that are going to be less than $1,000. So it's getting close to being valued back at $1,000. I really want to see if this 871 sells anytime soon, or this $950 one. But Elsa, the chase of Lorcana, it's still dominating the collector's market. You came back as an enchanted that's been going up in price the last couple weeks from $100 $100 to around $120. Lowest verified is Recreation Games, 115 right there, and it kind of sticks around that price from a couple more sellers. But I think this card has some potential, maybe not this format, but some formats in the future. Shout out the Discord members, by the way, for suggesting we talk about some enchanted rares that we're looking at. The Queen Diviner is an enchanted that I've been looking at, Zach. I think this card is really underrated, especially if we're headed into like an item heavy format with Oswald and Maurice's Workshop. And this has been going down because this deck did win a DLC at one point, a deck that utilized Queen Diviner and items. So I do think it's a good deck. Lowest verified right now is only $53.89 by World Class Singles. They have 8 of them for you as well. So there's a lot to go around, and they're still barely at around $55. So I think if you're gonna play like an item control Sapphire deck, I like this card a lot, and I think as an enchanted rare has some high potential. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. This one's just been going up in price again. This one is no secret. It used to be at $100. It fell to around $75, but now today lowest verified is $94.94 with some $350 shipping by Matrix cards. Then $99.99 by 95. Shout out you guys. So it's a $100 promo card. Now this comes out in the D23 collection, and that D23 collection is only valued at around $250, and it comes with 5 more promos. So just one of those promos is $100. The Ursula itself is like still $75, right, Zach? So this is some good value, I think. What do you think?
It's something that I don't know how to really put it into words, but yeah, it's interesting why how this works. Like you can buy a whole set. Of course, you get more than what you want if that's all you're asking for is the Oswald. But in terms of value, in terms of like trying to generate like any little bit of money on top, you can get rid of all these singles that come with it, and then have more cash flow and basically kind of recoup some of the costs. I know that these D23 boxes were $100 when they came out, but we can't get them anymore. So this is a secondary market, and this is how think collectibles and these kind of things go. So yeah, you always have to consider like what's worth it to you. I wanted to talk about this one specifically, Uncle Moneybag Scrooge, the promos. This is actually something that's been slightly going up, but we don't see any play in this card whatsoever. I do like that though. Like the card was like around $5 from forever. I've always kind of like checked in on promos from the start. And then we see an uptick now recently. So I'm not too sure if it's just a collector's market, kind of like putting some thoughts together and wanting to buy more promos like this. Maybe it's because we know we won't see these anymore. So it's something to keep your eye on for all you speculators there into the market. Really consider hanging on to some of these promos, and always check it out. Yeah, I know, Kevin. It's really it's interesting. This isn't the only promo, but we're gonna just talk about this one and let you guys look into the other ones that are available. But Kristoff is the other one I wanted to mention. This card I think was like dipped at like $2 to $3, and it's starting to like see an uptick in price. So yeah, there was a point where I think maybe this card was like a little cheaper than that, but we'll get to a point where like these promos are harder and harder to come by, and then maybe they won't offer a bunch of them in like a redemption tournament at the end of the season.
Yeah, because it's like $10 now, and like you were saying, these definitely dipped to like $5 or something. And the Scrooge one too. The Scrooge one was like super hyped in the beginning, and then it just completely fell. Some of these are not league promos. A lot of these were just like event style promos too. So when we don't know when we're getting any more events. They haven't announced anything. They said they're still waiting. They paused it so that they can get everything organized, they said. But until then, you guys got to stay tuned to Lorcana Goons for more. Thank you guys so much for watching the Friday weekly Market Watch with Zach Stone and I. My name is Kevin. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're a Lorcana Goon. If you want to be part of the Goons Squad community, really appreciate it. And let us know if you're looking forward to Reign of Jafar coming very soon, or if you're still kind of overwhelmed with all the news from Arcasia's Island, because I'm still trying to figure out what deck to play from Arcasia's Island. I don't know if I want to necessarily invest time into thinking about Reign of Jafar. But Zach, anything you want to say before we call it a day?
Guys, thank you so much again. If you're still here with us, we really appreciate you watching till the very end. Get in our Discord if you're not in there yet. We have our links in the bio down below. And until next time, stay tuned to Lorcana Goons.
And we'll see you Goons next time.